Welcome back to A New Day. I'm talking to Eisha Armstrong, owner of Mom Corps Cincinnati, and she was going to give us some tips for reentering the workforce.
Yeah, I get a lot of questions from moms who want to go back into the workforce. You know, what should I do? And there are 5 things that I think are really important. The first one is make sure that you've talked to your family, that they're supportive of the idea to go back to work.
Good idea.
And that you have a plan. Who's going to do what when you're in the office? The second one is to make sure that you're current. Do you know the latest software? Do you know the trends in your industry or in your area, and have you updated your wardrobe?
Right. Oh, yeah. Good point. Yes.
Absolutely. Third is childcare. So make sure you have really good childcare and a backup plan, because as we all know, sometimes you've got to go to that backup plan for childcare.
That's right.
And then fourth would be confident. Be confident in the skills that you have, even if you've been out for a few years.
That's right.
You've probably done some volunteer work.
That's right.
And that's very relevant to employers, so be confident. And then finally, I say, honor your decision to go back to work.
That's right.
By focusing 100% on work while you're there. So try to keep work and home separate.
Great. Those are really good tips.
Oh, thank you.
Now, if there are lapses in your resume between, from when you stayed home and when you've worked, how do you kind of account for that?
Well, I think it's really important to never try to hide them.
Right.
So don't cover it up. And think creatively about what you've done during that time that you've been out of the traditional workforce. So, for example, have you done any volunteer work at your children's school?
Volunteer work is valid. It can be on the resume, and I agree with that.
Yeah, and there are a lot of skills that you can develop by doing volunteer work. If you're doing a fundraiser, you're doing marketing, you're doing sales. So think creatively about the work you've been doing outside of the traditional workforce and put that on your resume.
Now, if I'm interested in working with Mom Corps, how do you screen applicants?
Well, the first thing is, do they have the right skills and experience? That's the first thing that I look at.
Because you have a certain kind of person that you're looking for in order to fill the jobs that for the companies that you work with.
Exactly. And then second, are they a good cultural fit for the company that I'm working with? So do they have the right personality, and whether it's kind of a more serious workforce or it's more laid back, make sure there's a good cultural fit. And then finally, is it the right flexibility for that candidate? So does that candidate want project-based work or part-time, and is this job opportunity a good fit for their flexibility requirements?
What about benefits? Do you offer benefits?
Yeah, I mean, one thing that all of our jobs have as a benefit is flexibility. And then if a job is full-time, that frequently comes with benefits, but it depends on the position.
And we talked about the fact that men can apply. Is there an age limit to people who apply?
No.
Can you be older? You said there's some retirees, but is there an age limit? Anyone older can apply as well, or how young can you be?
Well, there's no age limit, but like I said, we focus on professionals, experienced professionals, so typically working with people who have at least 5 years of work experience, have a college degree, usually a graduate degree. But like I said, in this economic environment, we're attracting interest from all sorts of people, perhaps someone who retired a few years ago and now wants to go back to work and do some project-based work. They're coming to Mom Corps as well, so flexibility can be for anyone.
Is there a secret to really being successful in meshing the family and work together?
Yeah, I mean, I think the most important thing is to have the support of your family. If your family's not behind kind of going back to work, it's not going to work. And if you haven't talked about how you're going to divide up household responsibilities, who's going to do the cooking, who's going to do the shopping, it's not going to work. I think the other thing is that, especially if you've been home for a few years, perhaps with small children, is not to feel guilty about going back to work. And look at this as a choice that you're making for the best thing for you, the best thing for your family, and just get rid of that guilt.
Do you have any suggestions for if you're not a mom and but you're trying to get back into the workforce after being laid off? Again, some suggestions about just trying to get back in.
Yep.
But you're not a mom, you don't have kids at home, so there's been a lapse in work and you've been laid off.
Yeah.
How do you get back in and get that confidence back up?
Yep. Well, I think, you know, the tips and the advice are really the same. I mean, make sure you're current. Take advantage of this time off to take new classes, learn new software, make sure you're keeping up to date with all the latest news and trends in your industry. I always advise people to get on LinkedIn. That's a great spot to kind of talk about your experience. There are a lot of recruiters using LinkedIn these days to find candidates, so that's a great place to be. And then, again, just be confident. Like, that comes across in interviews. You have to be confident in your skills, confident in your experience, and confident in what you're looking for.
Networking is a challenge for a lot of people, and so you do recommend online kind of networking, but is there a tip for when social networking, not online social networking, but literally face-to-face social networking?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, and you bring up an excellent point, that I think it's something like 70% of jobs that people get are found through a contact as opposed to a traditional job source. So it's very important to be networking, let everyone you know that you're looking for a job, be going to different networking events, whether they're for professional associations or even things like your church or your school. Just talk to people and get the word out that you're looking. And you're absolutely right, networking is so important to any job search.
Well, thank you so much. You have been so helpful, and congratulations on your new business.
Oh,
we appreciate it, and we appreciate you coming on and talking about it. And we really wish you well.
Thank you.
And you can get more information about this at momcorps.com, and that's just like Marine Corps, MomCorps, MOMCORPS.com.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Eisha.